Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, we wanted to talk about being offended. And mainly, we want to illustrate the point that whenever you feel offended by something, it never involves the other person. It is exclusively a function of you and your inner world. And
I mean, it involves the other person because they're saying something, but
well, okay,
offense is all rooted inside us, right?
exactly, exactly. People say infinitely many things all the time. And some of those things are considered offensive to some people, but not to other people.
Like Merry Christmas.
And so this alone should illustrate the point that what they're saying is not the issue, because some people don't find it offensive. Other people do, though. So what they're saying isn't the issue. The issue is fundamentally what's going on in your own world that is making you take offense to something another person says. Right?
Yep.
And fundamentally, it just comes down to how you see the world, how you see yourself, and what kind of ideals and standards you hold yourself to. So how can we give an example of this?
Let's start with something that we're offended by.
Okay. So, for example, myself and Briana, we like to roast each other. We have a playful relationship where we poke fun at each other all the time because it makes us laugh. We have a more dark sense of humor, so we think that, you know, getting burned, we can appreciate kind of the humor in that. Other people might get offended by that.
Oh my God.
But there are certain things that we don't bring up when we're playfully roasting with each other because we know that we get offended by them.
It's a sensitive spot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's we could sit here and say, okay, I know I'm offended by this, and that doesn't make sense because of the context in which it was said. I shouldn't be offended, but I am. Why? Because of my deep internal insecurities. Yeah, that's a good one. So one example for both of us is relating to body composition or being fat. And it's because we both come from a background of disordered eating and body dysmorphia. And so for us, actually like gaining weight and maintaining a healthy level of body fat has been historically a challenge for each of us because we're both obsessed with being very lean, right? And so we've made a lot of progress in it. But if someone if you're struggling to gain weight and you're successfully gaining weight, and then someone comes along and be like, oh, you're fat, or they joke,
you're gaining weight,
or they joke about,
slow down.
Yeah, if they joke about that type of thing, even if it's just an offhand comment, right, then it pokes at that insecurity for us. And so that's something that we take offense to, whereas someone else might not, because they don't care. They have no issues around,
have zero issues around body composition.
Yeah, and so if you were to call them fat, it doesn't matter. Or another one is, I hate when she says that I look skinny.
That's most men, right?
And I'm like, I'm not skinny.
I like being skinny, but men do not like being skinny.
When she says it, she's actually trying to compliment me.
I should be saying lean.
Yeah, what she means is you're looking lean, which implies you have a muscular figure, but you're not a lot of body fat, right? Which is distinct from skinny, which is just like small. She likes being skinny. I like being lean. So when she says skinny, because she's coming from her own world of skinny's a good word, and uses on me accidentally, I'm always like, ugh.
I didn't grow up like doing like bodybuilding, so that wasn't trained in me. So it's second nature for me to call it skinny.
Yeah.
And so I have to train myself to call it lean.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, some things I let out, for example, is at every now and then, accidentally, I'll call her dumb. Like jokingly, it's like, oh, that's dumb. Like you're being dumb. But that's not okay with her, in the same way that when I get called skinny, I'm like, oh, even though I know that she wasn't trying to upset me, it's just a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
For her, it relates to anything doing with her intellect. And that's because you've grown through your entire life fighting stereotypes that you're just a dumb blonde.
Yep.
And so, and she's obviously incredibly intelligent, and you know, she wants to be appreciated for that.
That will like set my insecurities on fire.
Yeah, when she feels that someone is making her feel dumb
or challenging me, like challenging my intellect, I mean.
Yep. And that's another area where the offense is internal.
It's
because
my issue.
Because if someone calls if someone calls me dumb, I just laugh, or I'm just like, okay, because I've never had a history where my intellect has been challenged. Like, I know where I stand on the SMART scale.
Yeah, and I think the difference here, though, what I was trying to point out is that offense is my issue. It becomes a problem in your life when you believe everyone else is responsible for offending you, right?
Yes, exactly.
And why? Because you can't control everyone. Never. Like, you can never control other people.
Yep.
So the only thing I can control is myself, and build up my own self-esteem around my insecurities, which I do.
Yeah, exactly. And this leads us kind of into the final point of this video, which is that you can glean a lot more from the people insulting you and trying to offend you than what it says about you personally.
Because they're trying to.
Because how do you offend someone? In order to try and offend someone, you have to think of the things that
offend you.
You have to think of the things that are offensive in general, right? And where do you pull that info from? Your own lived experience, which means that when someone insults you and someone tries to offend you, they're throwing insults that they themselves would take offense to. So, you know, it really speaks. Yeah, it speaks volumes when they, exactly. When, for example, when we see this a lot in the modern day, you have a lot of people just throwing around the words, you're a racist, you're a transphobe, you're a sexist, you know, you're a misogynist, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay, well, so those are all words that would offend you, probably because some deep, dark spot inside of you actually fits those descriptors. Yep. And you're hiding it.
I never get offended when people call me the racist or homophobic or anything like that.
Because
really. Because I don't have any deep feelings around that. Like, that's not who I am.
It's because they're blatantly false. You know, you don't take offense to it.
Insecurities around that area.
Yeah, there's no insecurities because they're false. So you don't take offense to it. But the person lobbing all those insults constantly.
That's what they're insecure about.
Yeah. Because they're deep, somewhere down inside, they know it's true about themselves. And so they get very sensitive around that topic.
And they're trying to insult you with what would hurt them.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Awesome video. So hopefully you all liked this video as much as we enjoyed talking about it. And if you did, give the video a like, share it around. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone.